You awaken with a high-pitched ringing in your ears. Gradually, the sound becomes softer, like the humming of your refrigerator, and eventually, it stops completely. Even after a peaceful night's rest, your eyes are not ready to open. Your instincts urge you to keep them closed, but you find no reason not to open them. The fluorescent lights blind you as your eyes are adjusting to the brightness. You are in a perfectly square, white room with one door. One door. There's nothing strange about the door, yet you find it strange how the door seems so ordinary. You are now sitting up in your own bed in an unfamiliar room. You are not surprised. You don't know why, but you are not surprised. Your gut is telling you to go back to sleep, telling you not to be so curious, telling you not to. Too late. You noticed an elderly man, possibly in his late 70s, sitting in the corner of the room. He is wearing a cheap brown suit and a pair of sunglasses. There are several pieces of cardboard signs resting on his lap. He opens his mouth and begins to speak. He makes no sound. After a few moments, his lips stop moving and he grins. He grins. It reminds you of that smile of a mischievous little boy stealing toys from his siblings. The man lifts up the first sign. It is written by hand. Hello, my name is Michael. Do not be afraid of me. I will not hurt you. He continues to smile, showing his decaying teeth. He switches to the second sign. I will grant you 3 wishes if you want them. Any information I reveal will count as a wish. I will not hurt you. He waits. You nod your head. He switches to the third sign. If you use up all your 3 wishes, I will give you another 3. But once you start to use the next set of wishes, you will have to give me something valuable. I will not hurt you. You immediately want to know. Tell me, why am I in this room? Before your lips begin to produce any sound, his mouth begins to move. You notice his crooked yellow teeth. It keeps moving as though he is talking, yet he makes no sound. You feel somewhat frustrated and cheated by the mute man. You get up and walk towards the plain white door. The man gets up, slowly feeling for the corner of the bed. He crawls under it. It is obvious that he cannot see. You approach the door, turn the knob, and open it. After opening the door, you find that the door is still closed and you're holding a piece of cardboard with your own writing on it. You read it. You have 1 wish left. Don't open the door. You check on the old man. He is still under the bed. He is grinning again. This time, the grin stretches across his face. His decaying mouth begins to laugh, a soundless laugh. You start to realize that the situation is hopeless. You want to go home. You want to wake up and realize that it was all just a dream. You say to the old man, I wish this was all just a dream, and I won't remember it when I wake up. How stupid. You notice it only now. You are deaf. You will never notice this. But you used your 4 wishes. You awaken with a stinging sensation in your eyes. Gradually, the pain becomes less intense, like a wound starting to scab, and eventually, it stops completely. Even after a peaceful night's rest, your eyes are not ready to open. Your instincts urge you to keep them closed, but you find no reason not to open them. Your gut is telling you to go back to sleep, telling you not to be so curious, telling you not to notice the old man with the rotting smile, staring intently at you. When I was 16, I was sitting at a table with my mom talking about life, musing on about the afterlife and reincarnation, the usual. I began to laugh and say, I'm pretty sure I remember my past life. This was about the time her face went pale. I asked her why. That's when she began to list all the details of my silly past life, which I always felt was just a reoccurring dream I must have. She told me how I was the youngest child in a family of poor travelers, how my crib was the top drawer of any dresser where we would sleep, and my mother was a tall, bony, angry-looking woman with her hair pulled high, always wearing long dresses. All of the details I was about to tell her for what I thought was the first time. How'd you know all of that? I've never told you before, I said. Because that isn't the first time you've told me, she said. You told me that story many times when you were a baby, after you first learned to talk. I don't believe it. And the worst thing, she said, with a dark brow, was when I would come to play with you, and you would tell me your other mother was behind me. You come into possession of an old box. Inside are several glass vials filled with dirt, dust, and tiny bits of gravel or cement. The vials are labeled with places and dates such as Port Chicago, 7/17/44, Halifax, 7/6/17, and Guernica, 7/17/36. A trip to the library confirms that they are all dates of massive loss of life in explosions. A few days later, a package arrives with no return address. Inside is an empty vial labeled with your hometown and next week's date. I don't know why I looked up, but when I did, I saw him there. He stood against my window, his forehead rested against the glass, and his eyes were still in light, and he smiled a lipstick-red, cartoonish grin. And he just stood there, in the window. My wife was upstairs sleeping, my son was in his crib, and I couldn't move. I froze and watched him looking past me through the glass. Oh, please no. His smile never moved, but he put a hand up and slid it down the glass, watching me, with matted hair and yellow skin, and face through the window. I couldn't do anything. I just stayed there, frozen, feet still in the bushes. I was pruning, looking into my home. He stood against my window. If you like what you heard, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. If you'd like to, you can follow me at Twitter. The handle is @FuzzyPantaloons, and I'll see you all next time.